KWT slaying.
What if the truth was never lost, only buried? For centuries, historians, scholars, and even colonial records have confirmed what many tried to silence. The original Israelites were a black people scattered across continents but never erased. Their skin was dark, their customs ancient, and their covenant with Yah eternal. This journey uncovers how the Spanish and Portuguese Jews, described as dark-skinned, Semitic, shared one bloodline. Chased by the Inquisition, many fled to Portugal, then beyond, preserving their heritage across borders. But the story doesn't end in Iberia. Across from West Africa, black Jews built synagogues, kept Torah, and passed down the laws of Moses. The Limba in southern Africa, the Igbo in Nigeria, the Beta Israel in Ethiopia, tribes across the continent boldly declare, "We are the children of Israel." These aren't isolated claims. These are voices rising from the dust, connected by oral histories, Torah traditions, and the unbroken rhythm of their identity. No such legacy exists among European Jews. No centuries of tribal witness, no matching traditions, no trace of ancient covenant keeping. Maps, art, and archaeology tell the same story. The Israelites were scattered, enslaved, and displaced, but never lost. The world always knew who they were. Their presence was visible, their customs alive, their story intact. This book doesn't speculate. It confirms the Israelites were black, bound by blood, culture, and covenant to the Most High. This is not just history, it's restoration. The truth was never destroyed, only buried beneath centuries of deception. Get your copy of They Always Knew We Were Israelites today, available now on Amazon.com.
Salam, family. Salam, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So today we have Minister Tayu with us. As y'all saw, he recently released his book, They Always Knew We Were the Israelites. Minister Tayu, say hello to the family.
Greetings, family. Salam, how y'all doing today?
So, Mr. Tayu, if you could back off the mic a little bit, it's a bit hot.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Any better?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
So, Minister Tayu, why did you write this book? So, this not going to be like a full interview of it, but, just to give y'all an idea what the book is about, what's going on, and why Minister Tayu wrote the book. Minister Tayu.
Well, from the very beginning, in our research, we've been collecting data. I've been cataloging it using a tool called Calibri. If you don't know about it, it's a very useful tool for PDFs. And, since all this ancient data is in PDFs today, it's a good way to organize and comment on your research. So that's how I started gathering all this information. And then I realized we have a lot of videos teaching this stuff, right? Some of the content makes it to video. Some of the content does not make it to video. So I wanted to take what we have researched over the past, 8 years and consolidate it into a book form, because the way I see it, the way things are, we won't have access to our history again. And so this is one of the reasons we release as a paperback or hardback and not a Kindle, because digital material will not survive, right? So if you're looking to convince your family of the truth and show them what has already been documented, this is the book.
So, Minister Tayu, why is it important that we know who the true Israelites are, and why is it important for us to understand our history? Because Christians tell us no more Jew Greek.
Well, the biggest shock you're going to have is that Christianity lied to you, except about the Messiah. But their religion, their teachings
Well, let me
about,
stop right there. They lied about that too,
well,
partially.
well, partially, but I mean, I'm talking
Yeah,
about the Lamb,
I know what you're talking about. I'm
right?
just
So, yeah, we're talking about the Lamb, that who died for our sins, right?
yeah.
But other than that, everything they set up for us was meant to control us, was meant to neuter us, right? And this is why we always found ourselves powerless when they abused us, because we didn't know the scriptures. We listened to them and we turned the other cheek while they murder, rape. Let me take that back. I'm live. So anyway, why they harm us? Let's put it that way. Minister Cole gonna jump on me.
Some people like to say grape.
Yeah, grape. Yeah, all of
The
the
biggest
horrors,
issue,
right?
the biggest issue is making sure lollipops are not mentioned the way they do.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
I got caught for that already. I'm never gonna say anything but lollipop again because I messed up. I didn't think that would get us, but I'm like, wow. So yeah, so I mean, because of that, we need to relearn everything, and it's not easy. It's in the scriptures, but we have to put the time in. And so the best place to start is with our history, because our people have a hard time believing it. And I'm like, it's well documented, and that's the point of the book, is to show people, look, we're not saying this. They've been saying this 200 years ago, 300 years ago, right? It's well known, it's well documented. And so the goal is to consolidate this information, something you can have it prior to the second Exodus. Make sure you take it with you, because you got to teach your kids, your grandkids, and things like that. That might be the only legacy left when we leave. It may be the only legacy left for those who survive here, if that can happen after this nation get destroyed. I don't know where you're gonna go, how you're gonna survive, but anyway, regardless, this book is just pure history, right? The subtitle is "The Historians Always Knew Who We Were." They understood who we were, and they described us as a Black people, right? And it's like excellently documented. It's just that the enemy's campaign against us of disinformation is so great. We were born into the lie, so now we have to dismantle the lie. And that's the goal, is to dismantle the lie. And it's not us saying, oh, there go those Negroes again, there go them African American again, trying to steal white people history. No, they stole ours, and it's provable, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what the goal is. You're going to find out what African tribe confesses. And I know Minister Yakoba probably said this, but not all y'all don't know it, but it's documented. There's African tribes that confess they were the Assyrians and who took us, right? We got documented evidence in Dahomey that we kept the Torah. We had Sabbath. We had synagogues in Dahomey. I'm not talking East Africa. I'm talking West Africa. You see what I'm saying? It's well documented. This is not a joke. Timbuktu, Mali, all of these areas had the law of Moses, had rabbis, had synagogues. This is what you're going to learn. This is what you can share with your family. This is what you can pull as a resource when you need it, instead of saying, what video was that in? Right? And there's going to be some things in there that you never even read about or seen in the videos, but it's going to be very interesting.
So, man, to tell you, one of the things that I found interesting in the book, well, a lot of interesting things, but you get to build your heritage and identity back, right? Because that was taken from us. Because having a heritage and having an identity is based upon what you've learned from your ancestors, right, and from your
That's a
mom
good
and from your
point.
dad or whatever. So now you get to have some of that restored to you, your history of what happened, what they did to us, right, and what truly happened throughout history. Because one of the things that I found out, which was very interesting, and and I don't know how much Mr. Taylor gonna go into it, but them folks in the Middle East, oh my goodness, them other folks that's not us, that
The small
Revelation
hats.
2939, small hats, they didn't follow us everywhere we went. Oh yeah, that's why everywhere we went, we were persecuted. They found us everywhere we went. Why? Because they followed us wherever we went. And not only did they do that, they tried to. It's documented they were trying to steal our identity. You didn't know that, did y'all? It's documented that they were trying to steal our identity.
You're gonna find that in the book. It's documented. I'm not saying it. They say it. The Gentile historians are saying it, that those so-called white Jews are not the real ones, and they were trying to steal our identity. That I didn't say it. They said.
So don't be hating at Tell Ministries. They're just talking about history. Y'all deal with the authors of those books that's like 200 and 300, 400 years old or whatever, right? So I meant to tell you, when we look at all of these things and the whole process of what happened to us from the Inquisition all the way through to the transatlantic slave trade, you document all of that very well. And when it comes to this transition, right? Remember in the beginning, we had people on certain channels and some people called urban apologists coming up with gaslighting stuff, right? Where, we're on the continent and those Jews on the continent were white Jews. They weren't black Jews. Now, all of that has been totally destroyed,
Totally
right? And
destroyed.
so now we also have the fact that, because they're going to say, well, like I've seen some of the, Revelation 2939 say stuff like, well, we were colored, but, we just changed color though because we mixed with the nations. But, we specifically see references not only as black, but what? Africans, right? As Negroes. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, look, there's no doubt the Israelites were a Negro people. And tell you the truth, the palm colored people, the question is, where did they even originate from? We don't know. It's unclear, right? We don't even know their history. They don't have a legacy like we have. They don't have ancestors passing down traditions. You go back 200 years, and that's where they begin. They begin about 200 years with stealing our identity, claiming to be us, but they can't go any further. But we have a long legacy. We have 2,000 years or more of oral and documented history, right? And it's coming out. So, I mean, this is really a game changer.
So, Pastor Rick, I'm going to have to laugh at this one. Hold on. Send Urban Apologist a complimentary copy of your book that ought to spark some interesting conversations. The most they're going to get to me is me not to cuss them out. That's about all they're going to get from me.
They're going to have to buy this.
Oh, yeah, they got to buy this, which they're not going to do, right?
Those guys ain't getting nothing. Look, back in the day, Yacoba, me, and Dante, we be up there arguing against these guys, and they be gaslighting us, and we got the receipts, and they telling us we don't know what we're reading. But now we've consolidated more and more references that just reaffirm what we've been arguing with them from the beginning. Right. So now they're looking like an immoral, dishonest group of people. But, hey, that's what these Christians do. As a whole, most of them are dishonest, immoral. They talk a good game, but when you need them, they ain't there. They talk about you behind your back instead of coming at you in love. Right. I'm like, it's just everything's being exposed.
So, Minister Tayu, you mentioned earlier that we had synagogues. What else did we have? Did we have scripts? Did we have Torah?
Oh man, we had documented scripts. We had The laws of Moses written on parchments, right? We had whole communities of our people living together in like Dahomey, Timbuktu area, West Africa, even Congo. And I'm gonna tell you that we were everywhere. There's a lot of interesting things about the Congo and how we ended up there. I mean, look, we were everywhere. East Africa, Congo, West Africa, and it's documented. And they clearly knew it was us. They can't gaslight us no more. Well, y'all just some bunch of converts who followed us and blah, blah, blah. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's that's finished. We know who the converts were, and it's not us, right? And that's their own historians proving this. So that's finished.
So what we're seeing today is I would say the continuation of the awakening. And as someone had mentioned, being woke is the problem, right? Once we had awakened to being Israelites, this is when all hell broke loose, like we told y'all it was going to happen, right? And so now we at the final stages. We're at the stage of look, everything is being revealed. Literally everything is being revealed. And even tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a show with the AIC, the African Israelite Collective, and we're going to be talking about some other stuff we found about East Africa, Ethiopia, and all that stuff. The Sea of Galilee, different things. I'm like, just look, at least in my opinion, it's a closed case, right? The case is closed. We the people. The case is closed. Jerusalem is in Ethiopia. The case is closed, right? That's just how I feel about it. So, Minister Tayu, when it comes to your book, what can people expect to get out of it?
Well, as I was saying, I mean, you're going to learn what the white historian said about it. So what happened is, you understand that the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, that group in Rome, they worked together to start erasing us, right? And right around 1800 or so, that's when they put the big effort in to start erasing our identity, calling us Negro while replacing us with their people, right?
Wait, Minister Tayu, you mean like what Donald Trump is doing right now?
Trying to erase us? You mean, and taking us out of history? I see a repeat.
Sound like a second Inquisition in the works to me, but hey.
Yeah, there might be an attempt at that, right? Yeah, but
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I get into the Malabar Jews. You're gonna find that very interesting, right? And and let's get it straight. A lot of the Malabar Jews, like a lot of them were there after Babylon. They were there a long time. But then you had some that came after 70 AD. You had some that came after the Inquisition, right? And it's documented, right? So like, so Sephardic, people want to say Sephardic is something about white Jews. But when you look at the history, the white historians, right? And y'all know this from some of our videos. All the Portuguese Jews were black. All the Spanish Jews were black. Now, if Portuguese were black and Spanish Jews were black, and really they live next door, they're the same people, right? And so Sephardic, the definition of Sephardic is actually someone from Iberia, right? Which is Al-Andalus, which is Gibraltar, right? Which is Spain and Portugal, right? So, the origin of the Sephard comes from Obadiah 1:20, right? And it says the captives of Jerusalem who are in Sepharad shall possess the cities of the south. That's the origin of the word Sephard. So people up here trying to say Sephardic Jews are somehow white. It's just the same people that they kicked out of Spain and Portugal. The Sephardic Jews, Sepharad, right? That's the origin. Obadiah 1:20. Check it out, right? So we have to look at our history real carefully and not go by European Gentile documentation by itself. It's like building a case, getting the Lego puzzles, putting the Lego puzzles back together, and it starts to build a narrative. And you start to see who was in Congo, how they got there. You got to see who's in West Africa, how they got there, right? It's
So,
very
Minister Tayu,
interesting. Yeah.
they said, and I hear it too, there's a little popping when you speak.
Okay. Let me I'm gonna adjust it again. All right. Now this should be better, right? Is that a little lighter?
No, I still hear some popping.
Okay. I'll stay away from the mic. Any better?
No.
Okay.
Do
I
you
don't.
want to do, do,
How
do
about
you
this?
want to reconnect? Okay, say something.
1, 2, 3. Tell you.
I still hear it. It's the connection.
Okay. Oh, you know what? My Wi-Fi extender doesn't work anymore because they upgraded their system. So now they made my Wi-Fi extender invalid. That's probably what's happening.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, it's not bad. It's workable. You know, it's workable.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get
So,
a new Wi-Fi extender though. But that's what happened recently. That's probably what you're hearing.
okay. All right. Cool. So when we look at all of this stuff that's happening, in my opinion, one of the important things, as I mentioned earlier, is knowing your history, right? You have to understand what happened to us, because then you're going to understand what is happening to us today, right? Then you're going to understand why all of a sudden you got, white folks wanting to do a protest on Saturday, which is tomorrow, and black folks, Israelites, some of them don't know the Israelites, saying we're not participating, right? Because this history is being revealed, it's even spiritually, I believe personally, and that the connection between what happened to our past is sort of repeating itself. And, the goal is once again to hide who we are, to do a great reset, right? And to get, to delete us. That's the goal, but it's not going to work out the way they want. And this is why Trump and his cronies are doing what they're doing. I mean, what do you think of that, Minister Tayu?
Well, we've been teaching what was going to happen after 2019. I'm sorry,
You
I don't
sound
think.
better now. I don't know what you did, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we've been teaching this since what was going to happen after 2019, and it's been consistent. I know people get on the Minister, you're cool, but we got other people who teach that too. I'm like, well, share it, show me, because I don't know. I ain't never heard nobody else teaching it, because they might have believed it, but they didn't promote it, right? And now it's undeniable where we are. I mean, what's going on in the world is unprecedented. I mean, it's a dismantling of a system that's been running for at least 50, 60, 70 years. And it's over, right? The question is, what is the new system that they're about to bring online?
So somebody mentioned Psalms 83, right? So that continued from the Inquisition all the way to today, and we can follow the not only the historical accounts, but we can follow the prophetic accounts. And from what I see, all of that is starting to line up and make sense. And as the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun. So based upon that, Mr. Tayu, and based upon what has happened in the past with the Inquisition, with the Atlantic slave trade, what do you think their plan is? What do you think Donald Trump and their plan is based upon what has happened in the past?
I mean, really just observing how he's moving so far, he's really going to come up with a legal loophole to probably attack our right to citizenship. So that's going to be very interesting, because if you notice, I mean, a lot of these cops are getting more violent again, and our brothers, like the twins, are ending up, deleted, and that's getting very tiresome. Israel ain't gonna put up with that no more. Watch, I guarantee you, we just about done with that one. But yeah, they're setting the stage to take our rights away, right? DEI was just a sign to tell you any special rights you guys have, that's over. And you think, well, we don't need DEI, which I agree. But I think it's just a precursor, let's say, to what he's going to do next, right? He's going to make America great, but America great was never great for us. So how do you make America great for them? Put us back where we were. Where were we?
So I'm going to tell you,
Jim
based
Crow.
upon what we know historically from the Inquisition and how, since we know we the people and we can prove it, and they kicked us out of Spain, out of Portugal, right? Which is, immigration, right? And they
That's a good
also,
point, Minister Yakoba, is the parallel between the Inquisition and now.
yeah,
Because it started off the same way. It didn't start off violent in the beginning. It started off with taking rights away from the Jews, right? And
and taking their homes and their property and their wealth.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and their legal protection.
Isn't that what they're doing, but a different way?
Looks like it.
I mean, because right now, most people are not going to be able to afford their homes and pay their taxes, right? They're going to get kicked out. They're going to be on the street. And they're going to have to go somewhere else, right? I'm just saying it, and not only that, during the time of the Inquisition, they started changing things. You could no longer use the word Jew. You could no longer follow the Sabbath, the feast days, right? They started switching up.
Check this out. There's evidence in my book when they started not being allowed to call us Jew. And guess what? It says they called us Negro. Right? It's in there. They purposely redefined us as Negro.
I meant to tell you, what does Negro mean?
Dark skin, black. Just like the Portuguese Jews and the Spanish Jews.
Yeah. You can't get away from it. It all ties back. And see, that's the thing. When you're teaching the truth, it all comes full circle, right? The history lines up. The prophecies line up. The future prophecies start to make sense, right? On what's happening and what's going to happen. And this is why it's important that you know what happened in the past. Why? Because you're going to repeat it unless you learn from the past again, right? So this is what's happening.
Yeah, and we all had these bits and pieces, right? Especially growing up in Christianity, we knew about the Inquisition, the persecution of the Jews. Them, we thinking it's them rich white folks, right? And it was us, and we've been persecuted so long, but then we say, oh yeah, look at the transatlantic slave trade. What about that? We don't care about that. Right? It's like double standard. It's like 100 million versus 6,000, things like that. I'm like, come on now. But the Most High, look, if you didn't know, and this is to the Gentiles listening, if you didn't know, the book of Revelation is about vengeance against the nation that harmed and hurt and slaughtered his children. That's what the book of Revelation is about. It's not about the Antichrist. It's not about overwhelming evil coming into the world. Yeah, that happens. But if you're looking to understand, well, why is it written in here? What is the purpose of the book of Revelation? Why does the Most High finally come and fight them now when he didn't fight them before? He could have came anytime and dealt with these people, because everything is documented and certain things have to happen. And one of the things that have to happen is our freedom and liberation from captivity, right? Israel don't stay in captivity forever. He always leads them out, and he's going to lead us out again, right? No longer will you talk about Egypt. You're going to talk about when the Lord led them out of the lands around the world, right? All the nations where they were scattered, right? That great and final exodus and return home, right? That builds up to the what do you call it? The crescendo of Armageddon. Armageddon is going to finally be about Yeshua coming and avenging us when they come to take our land. See, the enemy is going to come and try to take the richest land that exists. That's Africa. We're in Africa. The Holy Land is in Africa. They're going to come and try to take it. That's Ezekiel 38. That is the beginning. That is when Armageddon really goes full steam, right? That's when the Most High is pouring out his wrath, as you see in the book of Revelation. You know, the book of Revelation isn't some random thing, right? It's broken out in the Old Testament. It's just hidden from those who were not meant to see. It was meant for us to see because we are the offended party. And now the Most High is going to come and avenge us, right? That's what Revelation is about. He's coming to avenge us. And so along the way, he delivers us, he redeems us, he gives us a new heart, right? A heart of flesh. And he brings along some Gentiles who have submitted to him, right? But the majority of the Gentiles, I don't think they're going to make it. But that's what it's about.
I don't see it either, Minister Tayu. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not the Most High, but I'm just saying it don't look good.
It don't look good.
So, excuse me. So this also ties to the gospel, the good news, right? And a lot of people don't teach the entire good news, right? They just teach spiritual salvation, not the physical deliverance, which, a lot of Israelites have an issue with, right? They say, well, Gentiles can't be saved. The covenant is with us and all that stuff. They missed the whole point. But anyway, Isaiah 61:1 says, the spirit of Yahuwah is upon me because Yahuwah had anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim what? Liberty to the captives and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. This shows Yahuwah's concern for meek, brokenhearted, captives, and those bound in prison. Right. So this is tying all the way back to the whole story in the Bible about a disobedient people who went into captivity by their God, their Elohim, right, for breaking his law, statutes, and commandments, worshiping idols, right, and being abused by the nations, but they took it too far. Right. It all ties together. So when you read Minister Tayu's book, you're going to see all of that historical connection where all of these prophecies in Christianity we could never interpret because we never saw it in history. We see it now in history, right? It's clear as day, right? Anything else, Minister Tayu?
Well, yeah, I just like to add, I mean, basically the little question marks you had about history that the Gentiles told you doesn't exist. There's no proof. It's there, right? And that was really the purpose, is to give us that final source that we can pull down off the shelf and say, here it is right here. We didn't write it. Don't blame me, blame them. Right. And that's all.
All right. So thank you for coming on, Minister Tayu. And if y'all haven't gotten your copy, go to Amazon.com and search for Tayu Yaho. Y'all see his name right there. And search for They Always Knew We Were the Israelites, right? And I think you'll enjoy it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And also, if you want to support this ministry, you can by becoming a patron. You can also give Cash App, $TOTW 7101. You can also go to tailministries.com, click on the donations tab, and support us that way. And also, don't forget, you could buy my book too. I got one out there too, right? And so, but make sure y'all support Minister Tayu. And we're going to close out with his video clip. And we'll see you tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Central Time with African Israelite Collective. We'll be talking more about Ethiopia.
What if the truth was never lost, only buried? For centuries, historians, scholars, and even colonial records have confirmed what many tried to silence. The original Israelites were a black people scattered across continents but never erased. Their skin was dark, their customs ancient, and their covenant with Yah eternal. This journey uncovers how the Spanish and Portuguese Jews, described as dark-skinned, Semitic, shared one bloodline. Chased by the Inquisition, many fled to Portugal, then beyond, preserving their heritage across borders. But the story doesn't end in Iberia. Across from West Africa, black Jews built synagogues, kept Torah, and passed down the laws of Moses. the Limba in southern Africa, the Igbo in Nigeria, the Beta Israel in Ethiopia. Tribes across the continent boldly declare, "We are the children of Israel." These aren't isolated claims. These are voices rising from the dust, connected by oral histories, Torah traditions, and the unbroken rhythm of their identity. No such legacy exists among European Jews. No centuries of tribal witness, no matching traditions, no trace of ancient covenant keeping. Maps, art, and archaeology tell the same story. The Israelites were scattered, enslaved, and displaced, but never lost. The world always knew who they were. Their presence was visible, their customs alive, their story intact. This book doesn't speculate. It confirms the Israelites were black, bound by blood, culture, and covenant to the Most High. This is not just history, it's restoration. The truth was never destroyed, only buried beneath centuries of deception. Get your copy of They Always Knew We Were Israelites today, available now on Amazon.com.